Colts Steelers. No longer calling it the perfect season.
It's over. They're not calling it the perfect season.
They're not calling it the perfect
I'm
season.
sad.
Pittsburgh wins this one. Steelers fans aren't sad. 27-20. They get the dub over one of the best teams in the NFL through the first 8 weeks of the year. Top 5 graded players that we had for the Pittsburgh Steelers: edge rusher Alex Highsmith, a 90.6. Edge rusher TJ Watt, an 85.3. Defensive tackle Cam Hayward, a 77.6. Honestly, Dalton, if those are the top 3 graded players for the Steelers, I'd pretty much tell you that they won. Like, if those 3 guys are the top graded players for the Steelers, unless something catastrophic happened on offense, I'd tell you the Steelers probably won that game. Tight end Darnell Washington at number 4 with a 75.1. Defensive tackle Keanu Benton, a 74.7. And then Aaron Rodgers in this game, a 70.2. He's going through a little bit of, like hand injury or something before the game. I saw him kind of messing with his hand. Ian Rappaport was telling that, but hey, they still get the dub here. Indianapolis Colts, their top graded player was edge rusher Latu with an 82.6. Cornerback Mekhi Blackman with a 72.5. Defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, a 72.3. Wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr., a 72.2. Safety Cam Bynum, a 72.1. And then Daniel Jones in this game struggled, a 53.1. Dalton, 6 turnovers in this game from the Indianapolis Colts. And for both of us, that was the stat that told the story here.
Actually, pretty amazing that you could turn the ball over 6 times in an NFL game and still only lose by
7. They only lost by 7.
I mean, that's actually pretty darn impressive. But yeah, when Josh Downs muffs a punt, the Steelers, that was the one time they didn't take advantage of it. But 2 Daniel Jones fumbles in the pocket, 3 interceptions, 24 of the Steelers' 27 points came off turnovers. I mean, there's really, for as much strategy and all that goes into it, I think the one thing I think Shane Steichen might regret a little bit in this game is that he didn't quite find the rhythm and run the football a lot with Jonathan Taylor early in this game. But once they were behind and they started turning the football over, it became what it became, right? I think it's just, you lose a turnover battle like that and you have 6 turnovers on an NFL field, you probably should have lost by a lot more. And then, you're not going to win that football game, right? I mean, Daniel Jones, and we've seen that in their 2 losses now, right? The 3 interceptions against the Rams, and now for him, 5 turnovers in this game. That's their 2 losses. In all the 7 wins, we've praised them every week for playing really good, squeaky clean football. This was a week where they went into Pittsburgh. They didn't do it. Obviously, you had a pretty nice matchup there with the Colts offensive line and the Steelers defensive line, and the Steelers got the better of them up front. But no, I mean, it's a tough road environment against some days a really good defense, especially the pass rush. And no, you turn the ball over 6 times, you're going to lose. I think it's probably what is, I don't know if it's ever been done at the NFL level, but this is probably a single-digit number of games ever that have been won where a team has 6 turnovers.
Yeah, I cannot imagine there's many,
if
any.
I'd have to find that. I know it doesn't happen often, that's for sure.
Yep, it was just a bad day at the office for the Indianapolis Colts offense, and I think that's the only way to say it. And when we were going through the preview show last week, I talked about how, hey, the Colts have been a really good run blocking unit. You highlighted that and said that they could still be a good run blocking unit against the Steelers defensive front. But the pass rush is what I was worried about, the Steelers pass rush, and the Colts have been fine at pass blocking, but not nearly as dominant as a pass blocking unit as they have been as a run blocking unit. And I think that came to pay for them with the turnovers and with the opportunities to get in the backfield and force the turnovers. One of the guys who forced those turnovers was TJ Watt, who was my most impressive in this game. Just to me, it was just a classic TJ Watt game where he was so savvy, he was so smart. He had pass rush and run defense grades above 70. I mean, this dude was fantastic. I felt like he was impactful all game, even when he wasn't making like a solo stop, even when he wasn't getting a sack, he was affecting the game, and he does that so many times. Run defense and pass rush grades above 78, not just 70, 78. So I didn't want to sell him short there, but he was good, and he was a representation of how the rest of the Steelers defense was playing, specifically up front. And I think the coverage was a good coverage day for the Steelers as well. So it was just, the Steelers were ready to play. They took advantage of the opportunity. It was not a good day for the Indianapolis Colts, but I think the Steelers putting them in tough situations is a good reason why. And so it's not a game where I think that we're now – sometimes we get these wins and losses and we spend a lot more times in these teams because we think that, okay, well, this win, this loss exposed something maybe in a good or a bad way with one of these teams. And this really was it was a great game plan by the Steelers. It was them showcasing the potential that we believe that this team has. It was sort of like a by-the-book day of sort of what they wanted there, although the Darnell Washington emphasis on the offensive side of the ball was, I didn't think that we would get that, but he was heavily involved in the offense. And then for the Colts, it was just You can't turn the ball over 6 times.
No, I mean, several standouts, right? My number one guy here is also the other edge defender, Alex Highsmith, 84.4 pass rush grade, four pressures, 2 sacks, one of them a strip sack that forced a turnover, also dropped into coverage and got a pass breakup. But, I mean, several guys to shout out here. Highsmith and Watt were great. Cam Hayward, as always, was great. Peyton Wilson, how about him with, 12 total tackles for Peyton Wilson. A batted pass that ends up in Jack Sawyer's hands for an interception. He had an interception of his own. Joey Porter had an interception and 3 pass breakups. I mean, you just got contributions from so many guys on the Steelers defense. And look, when you're playing this Steeler team, yeah, they have Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf and all that on offense, but this is what keeps you up at night. First, the defensive line. And then if the rest of the guys on the back end, like a Peyton Wilson, like a Joey Porter, play well, then you got a real problem with this defense. I mean, that's really what keeps you up. And that's why it's been so frustrating, because they have this much talent at all 3 levels, and yet there's days like the Jet game earlier in the year, like the Bengals game a couple weeks ago, where you go, why are they not playing up to their potential? Because this is what their potential is shutting down a really darn good offense like this.
Yeah, no, I agree. So Steelers played well on defense, and certainly we saw that. The offense could have been more explosive, but I feel like this is just also the DNA of the team. Like this, they're made to win through their defense, and Rodgers is here to give them that wisdom from the quarterback position, where I'm not saying that he doesn't have the potential to have big games, but you're not going to get that every single week from Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. So what you're really hoping is that just the floor is high enough, like it was in this game, where you can force some turnovers, you can play well on defense, and you can get a win against a good team.
Aaron Rodgers' job in this offense is to convert when he has prime opportunities to do so. He did that in this game. Once again, 24 of the Steelers' 27 points off turnovers.
Yeah, there you go.
That simple.
It's key.